What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's RFG back at it today, here to give you part 2 of my Star Wars series Decoded. Okay?
I'll show you the dark side.
The last series, I gave my synopsis and my take on the first 6 movies. This video will be my synopsis and my take on the last 2 movies that came out, episode 7 and episode 8. Yep, I'm back to blow minds, ladies and gentlemen.
It means nothing to me.
The Star Wars movie franchise is all about the struggle between the forces of light and dark in the universe. Nothing more.
You're my guest.
But you will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
And I'm going to leave it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Ray Skywalker said something very significant right there. But first, let me get this lecture started. Okay? I'm going to be decoding both movies, starting with The Force Awakens and then the latest one that came out, okay, The Last Jedi. I want everybody to know that these 2 films, okay, these 2 films right here, they are nothing but Nero Caesar tributes, okay? Both of these movies right here, the new Star Wars films, okay, episode 7, The Force Awakens, that came out in 2015, and then the one that just came out December 2017, they are both Nero Caesar tributes. Okay? I need everyone to pay very close attention because this information is going to blow everyone away. Okay? So, what do I mean by Nero Caesar tributes? The first 6 films of Star Wars, okay, was basically the story of our Kemetic ancestors, the story of Kemetic cosmology, the story of the story of creation, okay, according to Kemet. Those were your Star Wars episodes 1 through 6. Okay, your Star Wars episodes 7 and 8, and even when they come out with number 9, it's going to tie back to Nero Caesar tributes. Okay? Because when episode 6 left off, that was when the Death Star was destroyed. That's when peace and order was brought back to the galaxy. And that's when Set was put to death. Osiris and Horus put Set to death, who was Darth Sidious, okay, in episodes 1 through 6. Okay? So when episode 6 left off, the Force was brought back into balance, and Set was put to death, who was Darth Sidious. Okay. Also, Osiris killed himself in order to kill Set, aka Sidious. Darth Vader killed himself in order to kill Sidious. Okay. So these two movies right here are picking up right after those events. Okay. So you have the end of Darth Vader. You have the end of Set/Sidious. So you have these entities, you have these deities trying to take control of the galaxy once again. Okay? And one of basically the most significant character in these two movies is none other than Kylo Ren. Okay? Now, what's so significant about this guy, Kylo Ren? Kylo Ren. When you spell this guy's name backwards, okay? When you pronounce his name backwards, you get Nero-like. You get Nero-like, because he's like Nero Caesar, okay? Kylo Ren is personifying Nero Caesar in history, okay? This is why Kylo Ren's lightsaber is like a cross. You see? Kylo Ren's lightsaber is a cross, okay? And his name is Kylo Ren because when you say it backwards, it's Nero-like. He personifies Nero Caesar, the individual who put Moors to death on a burning cross, okay? On a cross, who put melanated Moors were put to death by Nero Caesar, okay? On a fucking burning cross. Okay, and the KKK also picked up this doctrine from the Knights and the Order of Nero Caesar. The KKK picked up the same fucking doctrine, putting Moors to death on a burning cross. Okay, putting Moors to death on a burning cross. This is the doctrine that the KKK and the philosophies of Rome. Okay, the United States has taken up the philosophies and the traditions of Rome. Okay, and putting Moors to death was something that Nero Caesar paid homage to, and he loved to do it. Okay, on a burning cross. He loved to put his fellow Moors to death on a burning cross. Okay, that is why Kylo Ren has a lightsaber that is a burning cross, and his name backwards is Nero-like. Because, god damn it, Kylo Ren is just like Nero Caesar, the evil emperor of Rome that put Moors to death on a burning cross. Okay? Not a game, not a joke. If you think it's bullshit, the KKK, okay, the KKK logo is the same logo as the goddamn Knights Templar. The KKK logo, go look it up. The KKK logo is pretty much the same as the Knights Templar logo. And what does that tell us? That tells us that the KKK get their doctrine straight from the exact organization that persecuted the Moors and put the Moors to death in Europe when Rome was still ruling the world. Okay, when you still had the Roman Empire. Okay? So the Knights Templar logo and the KKK logo is the same. Okay? This is about to blow everyone's socks off. His name was Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar. That's very interesting. Last time I checked, the etymology of Nero ties back to the color black, because all Nero is Negro without the G. So Nero means black. So ladies and gentlemen, this individual, Nero Caesar, was one of the melanated rulers of Rome. Okay, that's why his name was Nero. Okay, he was one of the predominant black rulers of Rome. He was a traitor Egyptian. He was a traitor Chemite. He was a traitor to Kemet. He was a traitor to his people. He was a fucking renegade Egyptian, and he put his own brothers to death, okay, so he could have his own success, his own fame, and his own power over the world, okay? He was a fucking renegade Egyptian, and yes, he was melanated. If you think it's bullshit, it says it right here. Okay, I'm going to pull this up right here. It says the word Nero in folk Latin and modern day Italian is used for black. Let me repeat. The word Nero in folk Latin and modern day Italian is used for black. Was Nero another black emperor of Rome? Well, God damn it. You see how these people try to stick a foot in their own fucking mouth? Why would you prove yourself wrong and then ask the same question that you just answered in the following fucking sentence? You see? It's crazy, the fucking psychological games they play. You see what I'm saying? It really pisses me off, man, because they hold this information back from us in their society, okay? But they know the truth. Deep down, these people know the truth, okay? Nero Caesar was a quote-unquote black man, a melanated man, okay? And now we're about to prove it through simple etymology. His name was Nero, okay? So now we're getting ready to look up the Italian definition of Nero, which is Negro, which means black. The Italian etymology of Nero is Negro, okay? Nigrum, and accusative of Niger, okay? Meaning black, okay? It's not a game, people. It's not a game. They called him Nero Caesar because he was a full-blooded Moor, and it was Julius Caesar, his great uncle, who was a half Moor, what you would call a mulatto. Okay, Julius Caesar was Nero Caesar's great uncle, and Julius Caesar was a half-blooded Moor, a mulatto. Nero Caesar was a full-blooded Moor. That's why they named him Nero. Okay? Please do your research. Please do diligent research, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So right here, we can see the phenotype. See, just because these statues have certain features and have certain hair textures, that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit, ladies and gentlemen, because when you go to North Africa, you have plenty of individuals with characteristics, okay, like you see here, prominent eyebrow ridge, okay, softer features, maybe somewhat thinner lips, okay, and they have thin hair, but their skin is still brown. Their skin is still copper or brown or dark brown with fine hair, okay? So just because you see these statues with certain phenotypes, that does not mean that these individuals are Caucasoid, okay? It does not mean that, okay? And this individual right here is a perfect example of what I'm stating, okay? Nero Caesar took on damn near these exact characteristics right here, okay? And he was a fucking traitor Egyptian. He was a fucking traitor Egyptian, okay? Flat out. Okay, when you study Nero Caesar and what he did in his reign, he did nothing but go against what Kemet stood for. He did nothing but go against what the Moors stood for. Okay? He killed his own goddamn mother. He had his own mother murdered. Okay? And what ties Kylo Ren to Nero Caesar? Kylo Ren in the Star Wars Episode 8 movie, okay, he killed, or actually, I believe, it was Episode 8. He killed his own father. Kylo Ren killed his own father. Kylo Ren is tied to Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar put his own mother to death. Okay? So right there, you see the correlation between both Kylo Ren and Nero Caesar. Okay? Very deep information here. Also, in the Star Wars Episode 7 and 8 films, Kylo Ren was a very fearful individual. He was very fearful. He was very fearful and prideful because of his fucking insecurities. Okay? Kylo Ren wanted to be more powerful than Darth Vader. Kylo Ren wanted to be more powerful than Darth Vader, but he could never achieve that because his midi-chlorian count was not high enough. Okay? It was not high enough. And I believe Kylo Ren didn't even have that knowledge. Okay? The same way Nero Caesar didn't have the knowledge that the melanin in his skin, okay, tied him to the universe, tied him directly to the creator. So Nero Caesar didn't even need any more power. If Nero Caesar just would have had a fucking knowledge of self, of who he really was as a melanated man, he would have never had to go on those rampages and put innocent people to death and persecute individuals who worship Serapis Christus. Nero Caesar would have never had to put those people to death if Nero Caesar would have known who he was as a melanated man. Okay? The same way Kylo Ren would have never went on this fucking rampage and put hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people to death. If he would have known, he could have never achieved the power of Darth Vader because Kylo Ren didn't have the same midi-chlorian count as Darth Vader. Okay? If he would have had that knowledge, he would have never went on that rampage. Okay? If he would have had the knowledge that Darth Vader actually destroyed Sidious, okay, and brought the Force back into balance, Kylo Ren would have been a fool to think that Darth Vader was completely evil. Okay? And this ties directly in to what took place during Nero Caesar's life. Nero Caesar was a full-blooded Moor who had no knowledge of self, who was very insecure. And when you study what happened with Nero Caesar, okay, when you study what happened with Nero Caesar was very insecure because he thought his parents adopted him. Nero Caesar thought his parents adopted him, and so he would not have a right to the throne. He would not have a right to the throne of Rome. Okay? And one of his cousins, or one of his half brothers, I believe, had a blood right to the throne, and he was trying to stop that. So he put either his half brother or his cousin to death. Look it up. Look it up, ladies and gents. Look it up. I'm not bullshitting you. Okay? I've done diligent research on this matter. Okay? So the same way Nero Caesar tried to put his sibling to death is the same way, okay? It's the same way Kylo Ren tried to put his own sister to death, okay? And his sister was Rey Skywalker. Rey Skywalker, okay? So, like I said, Kylo Ren is directly linked, okay, to Nero Caesar. That's why when you say Kylo Ren backwards, you're really saying Nero-like, because Kylo Ren is like Nero Caesar. Nero-like, okay? You get it? They put it right there in front of our faces, okay? So Kylo Ren is a Moor persecutor. Kylo Ren is a persecutor of the Moors. And we all know that the Jedi represent the Magi, okay, who stem from the original Moors who ruled over the planet, okay? And Kylo Ren is a fucking renegade Egyptian. He's a renegade Egyptian who's power hungry and who's fucking fearful, prideful, and insecure, okay? He had no knowledge. Kylo Ren also had no knowledge of what the midichlorians really were. If he did, if Kylo Ren had knowledge of what midichlorians really were, he would have known there would have been no way he could have been as powerful as Darth Vader. Okay, he would have had that knowledge. Okay, so he went looking throughout the galaxy, trying to confront his cousin. Okay, this wasn't his sister, this was his cousin. Rey Skywalker was Kylo Ren's cousin, and he tried to convert her to join forces with him, okay, to ascend to the throne over the galaxy so they could both rule, and be part of the Empire. And Rey Skywalker denied. Skywalker denied because her aura, okay, was more tied to the light side of the Force. Okay, it was more tied to the light side of the Force because Rey Skywalker is tied to a deity known as Sekhmet. Let me repeat. Rey Skywalker, the daughter of Luke Skywalker, is tied to a deity known as Sekhmet. Sekhmet was a feminine deity who was ruled by the sun. Okay, so I explained in my later lectures how Luke Skywalker was personified as Horus, the sun god. So right here we have Rey Skywalker, who is the son of Luke. Who is the daughter of Luke. We have Rey Skywalker, who is the daughter of Luke Skywalker. And they call Skywalker the son of Osiris, the son of Darth Vader, because he is the sun. He's personifying the sun god Horus. So the Horus, okay, the feminine aspect of Horus is what? Sekhmet. Sekhmet. And that is what we see right here with Rey Skywalker. And what is her name? Rey. Rey, like the shining rays. Like the shining rays. Rays, like the rays, the light rays of the sun. Okay? That symbology right in front of our faces. Rey Skywalker is personified as Sekhmet. Okay? This is a Kemetic goddess. Sekhmet. That's Rey Skywalker. That's what she's personifying in episodes 7 and 8. Okay? And like I just stated, Luke Skywalker, okay, he's Horus. He personifies Horus. Okay? Darth Vader is Osiris. All these deities are related through a family bloodline, a family lineage. Okay? Also, I'm getting a lot of flack from Christians that are saying that, oh, Nero Caesar put Christians to death. Nero Caesar put Christians to death. Nero Caesar is the most evil man in the world. He put Christians to death. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, at this time that Nero Caesar was ruling, okay, if you do your research and you look back to this time period, when you look back and see what was going on in the Roman Empire and the fall of Kemet during this time period, Christians weren't even called Christians. Go look it up. Go look it up. From 54 to 68 AD, Christians were not called Christians. They were called bishops of Christ. They were called bishops of Christ, and bishops of Christ were followers of Serapis. They were called followers of Serapis Christus. Go look it up. Go look it up. Okay? So all this bullshit about, oh, Nero Caesar, he's such a bad guy. He's such an evil son of a bitch. He's the most evil motherfucker who ever existed. Let me tell you why Nero Caesar was putting quote unquote Christians to death. He was putting them to death because they were paying homage to another fucking Greek ruler. Because the quote unquote Christians, okay, were really followers of Ptolemy the First Soter. Okay, the Jesus image you worship, it is a mixture of the Egyptian god Osiris, Apis, okay, and Soter. Osiris, Apis, and Soter, and then you get Ptolemy the First Soter, you get Serapis. Ptolemy the First Soter was a Greek ruler that took over Egypt, okay, during a Greek takeover, and declared himself as God, as the Egyptian savior God, okay? And this guy had to be consecrated as a god over the quote-unquote black Egyptians. Don't you get it? This was the first white savior god in existence. Ptolemy the First Soter, okay, mixed his image with Osiris and Apis and came up with the image known as Serapis, Serapis Christus, okay? And Serapis Christus became Jesus Christ in 325 AD, okay? It's called the Council of Nicaea, okay? Go do your damn research, okay? So when Nero Caesar was putting people to death, he wasn't putting Christians to death. He was putting followers of Serapis Christus to death. He was putting followers of Serapis Christus to death. Okay? And he was pissed. Nero Caesar was pissed at these motherfuckers because they were worshiping another Greek ruler. They were worshiping another Greek ruler instead of worshiping him. Nero Caesar wanted everybody to bow down to him and to worship him. He could not stand anyone worshiping another fucking Greek ruler instead of him. Okay? So Nero Caesar had the fucking knowledge that Jesus never existed and had the knowledge that the first ruler of the first Greek ruler of Egypt, okay, was a Greek named Ptolemy Soter, or Ptolemy Soter, and this image later became the Jesus image, okay? Okay, Nero Caesar had that full knowledge. He was fully aware of that knowledge, okay? So it wasn't like, oh, Nero Caesar was, putting these people who were following the Messiah, that were following the Messiah to death. He put everybody who was following the Messiah to death. Get that shit out of here. Shut the hell up. Do your damn research, okay? This Jesus character you talk about is really a guy named Serapis Christus, okay? Really, Ptolemy the First Soter. And Ptolemy the First Soter wasn't even really considered a god, until 325 AD. So this was hundreds of years before Ptolemy the First Soter even became an official god. Nero Caesar was putting you motherfuckers to death because you chose to worship a fucking Greek ruler other than him. You chose to worship another Greek ruler that was not him, and he put your ass to death, okay? On a motherfucking burning cross, okay? That's why Kylo Ren has the burning cross as the lightsaber. His name is Kylo Ren. Backwards, it's Nero-like because he's like Nero Caesar, the original motherfucking Moor destroyer, the original motherfucker who put Moors to death on a burning cross, okay? And the goddamn KKK took up this same doctrine. That is why the KKK logo is the same as the Knights Templar logo, because the Knights Templar were the individuals, were the knights who took out the orders of the rulers like Nero Caesar. So Nero Caesar ordered the Knights Templar to put the fucking Moors to death on the burning cross. You see? You see how this works? You see how this works, ladies and gentlemen? So what went on with Star Wars, okay, the Star Wars movie franchise, was all about the Kemetic gods going to war with one another. That's why it's called Star Wars. It was all about the Kemetic astrological gods and universal gods going to war with one another on a universal scale, on a galactic scale, okay? So right here, you see the correlation between Nero Caesar and Kylo Ren, okay? It's all about melanated people's war with one another. And this is also going to blow everyone away. Both melanated and non-melanated people were put to death on these crosses. Mostly melanated, because the original Pope of Rome, I believe, was Pope Sylvester. Pope Sylvester was a sellout pope, another sellout Egyptian, traitor Egyptian. Constantine, Pope Sylvester, King James, Nero Caesar, Julius Caesar, they were all sellout Egyptians. All of them. Okay? So the individuals that Nero Caesar put to death on these burning crosses, they were both devout Egyptians who wanted to still, pay homage to their Egyptian way of life, to their Kemetic way of life, paying homage to Asar, Aset, and Heru. Individuals still practicing alchemy, individuals still practicing, what is it called? Hika. Individuals still practicing Hika magic, okay? They were put to death, okay? Because that ties people back to the true source of the universe, the Oregon energy, okay? And Nero Caesar, he couldn't have that, because Nero Caesar was a jealous bastard, was a narcissistic bastard, was a sociopathic bastard, was a insecure bastard, a fearful bastard. Okay? So he let the demonic entities get in his head and get to him. Okay? Nero Caesar was under demonic possession, under demonic control. Okay? And that is what led him to go on this massacre, this persecution of followers of Serapis. Okay? He did not put, you see what I'm saying? Oh, these innocent Christians, these innocent followers of the Messiah. Okay? Because Jesus is not the fucking Messiah. Jesus is Serapis Christus. He was putting Serapis worshippers, okay, who were worshippers of Ptolemy I Soter. He said, if you want to worship, Nero Caesar told the people, if you want to still worship Ptolemy I Soter, I'm going to put your ass to death. Okay? And that's what the fuck he did. Okay? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay? The same way white Christians who are, racist put black people to death on a burning cross. The same goddamn way. And the KKK don't realize that their doctrine comes directly from Nero Caesar. Okay? Their doctrine comes directly from Nero Caesar, because that's why the KKK logo is the Knights Templar logo, and the Knights Templar were servants of fucking Nero Caesar. And I just proved to you that Nero Caesar was a black man. So all the fucking KKK members out there who, you see what I'm saying, still think you have some kind of fucking power, some kind of fucking real power, and you hate black people, just know that your whole doctrine comes from a fucking renegade black man from Egypt. Renegade black man with a bloodline that goes back to Egypt, okay, that put other black people to death, that put black and white people to death, okay? His name was Nero, one letter short of Negro, okay? Do the goddamn etymology research yourself. It's not a game. It is not a game. Look at this. There was plenty black rulers of Rome. Plenty. That's why they had to knock their goddamn noses off and make fucking fake statues during the fucking Renaissance. Wake up, people. Wake the hell up. Okay? It's not a game. It's not a joke whatsoever. Okay? This individual, Kylo Ren, or, you know, he's really Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar put individuals to death, okay, who paid homage to Asar, Aset, and Heru. This is the real Trinity that Christianity was stolen from. Christianity stole the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They stole that from the Mother, the Father, and the Son, okay, which is Asar, Aset, and Heru, okay. That's where they stole it from, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Nero Caesar was putting devout Egyptians to death, and he was putting followers of Ptolemy I Soter. He was putting his followers to death. Okay, because he was saying, you know, I'm not going to allow you to worship another Greek ruler other than me. Plain and simple. Okay, because when you worship Jesus, you're really worshiping Serapis Christus, who was Ptolemy I Soter, who was a fucking Greek ruler. Okay, so Nero Caesar put those people to death because they weren't worshiping him. Okay, plain and simple. Plain and simple. And also, this character Snoke was the one who tempted Kylo Ren to join the dark side of the Force. His name was Snoke, and Snoke was a demonic entity. His name is Snoke, kind of like the snake that came out of the fucking smoke. The snake that came out of the smoke, his name is Snoke, and he was the guy who tempted Kylo Ren, okay, to join the dark side of the Force and to kill his own fucking father, all to try to gain power and control over sentient beings in the galaxy, okay? This individual right here has ties to Set, who is Sidious in the previous Star Wars films, because you could tell he looks just like him, pale as hell, wrinkly old face, looks like he's dying off, and he is power hungry, okay? And very deceptive and very conniving, very manipulative, and very power hungry. Okay? So his name is Snoke because he represents the snake that came out of the fucking smoke, the fucking fog. Okay? And attached himself to Kylo Ren's psyche, Kylo Ren's mind, Kylo Ren's aura. And Kylo Ren, okay, basically fell victim to Snoke's energy. Kylo Ren was tempted, lured to the dark side the same way his grandfather Darth Vader was tempted, okay, by Set. Okay? It's not a game. Not a game whatsoever. This individual right here, I believe, also represents the inner terrestrials and inner Earth. Snoke, they call him the Supreme Leader Snoke. He is an entity that shares some kind of connection or relation to Set, and he's an inner Earth dweller. This guy's an inner Earth dweller because for Nero Caesar to do what he did in real life and put, you know what I'm saying, hundreds and hundreds of, you know, thousands of people to death on a burning cross, and to kill his own cousin, his own mother, innocent people, for him to do that, Nero Caesar had to have had demons speaking to him and turning him over to the dark side of himself. Okay? So it shows you the correlations between both Nero Caesar, his life, and Kylo Ren's life. Okay? It's not a game. It's not a game whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. Also, this is proof in the pudding. Proof in the pudding. Okay? Kylo Ren was, Nero Caesar was born December 15th, 37 AD. What's so significant about that? Now, I just told you how the Star Wars episode 7 and 8 films were nothing but Nero Caesar tributes. They were nothing but Nero Caesar tributes because Kylo Ren is Nero Caesar. Okay? That's why his lightsaber is the burning cross. Now, when we look at Nero Caesar's birthday is December 15th. When we look at the release date of, The Last Jedi, the movie, last Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, it came out December 15th, Nero Caesar's fucking birthday. Okay? Read it and weep. The film before this one, Star Wars, I think The Force Awakens, came out in 2015. It came out December 18th, which was 3 days after Nero Caesar's birthday. This one, the latest one, Star Wars The Last Jedi, that came out 2017, it came out on Nero Caesar's birthday. Nero Caesar's birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It was a tribute because Kylo Ren is a Nero Caesar tribute. That's why they had both of these movies come out either on or near Nero Caesar's birthday. Okay? Right there in front of your damn faces, Kylo Ren is motherfucking Nero Caesar. Okay? So that's really all I had to say on this topic. My next video, I'm going to be exposing these fucking female agents in hip-hop. These female agents who have destroyed the minds of women across the goddamn world. So that about wraps up my Star Wars Decoded lectures. My next Decoded series is going to be Harry Potter. I'm going to be dropping the first Harry Potter Decoded film tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Please share this video, like and subscribe. It's the chosen one, man. I'm out.